Hey, welcome back. On my way home, I am Miss Mandy, and today we are talking investing and how you can get started with little to no money. But before we get started, don't forget to hit the like button to help out the channel. And if you'd like to hear more about videos on this topic, don't forget that subscribe button as well. So, investing. What is it? Let's just get down to the very base level of what investing is. And some of us, may not know, and that's okay. If you're just getting started, you may not know even the basics. You got to start somewhere, right? So investing is when your money basically just goes out and makes little money babies. And that's actually a pretty good analogy because, at first when you have kids, they're little and they don't help out a lot and they take a lot of your time and energy to grow. But, as they get a little older, they start to learn how to load the dishwasher and, hand you things or throw things in the trash. And then they get a little bit older and they can start to clean the bathrooms and stuff like that, take out the trash. And then they get a little older and before you know it, they're full-fledged money adults and, that your kids can, pay you rent and all of that good stuff. They have jobs and all of the stuff that comes with being an adult, right? And your money's much of the same way. So when you first invest a little bit of money, it makes little bitty money babies that take a long time to grow up and create their own little bitty money babies. And that's what investing does for you. That's why people do it. Now, there are some cons to investing that from my side of the story I can see, because it does take a lot of money to make any kind of substantial amount in the little money babies, right? So you have to put a lot into it up front in order to get a lot out of it. And that can also take some time, which is another con. I don't know about you, but I don't have a lot of time on my hands to manage one more thing. I've got a lot on my plate with kids and pets and houses and, husbands and all of that, husband singular. But yeah, that's another con. And then the third is there is no guarantee. There's never a guarantee that money you have invested will come back to you. You have to be willing to lose whatever you put in. Most often that doesn't happen, especially if you know what you're doing, but it does happen occasionally, and you have to be prepared for that kind of situation if you want to invest. So that's our base level explanation, and that's just coming from my personal perspective. And I think that's really an important point to get into because everybody has different situations and they all shape all of your personal individual experiences, shape how you see things and how you will react to things and who you are as a person. And all of that can affect how well you do in investing. So I'm just going to go over my situation. If this is your first time here, you can get to know a little bit more about me. If you want to skip right to the ideas I have for investments with little or no money, then go right ahead. Forget about all the rest and just skip right to the good stuff, right? But this will help you understand where I'm coming from and why I see things the way that I see things. And I think that's important. So my situation, you need to know that I work full-time. I don't have a lot of time lying around just hoping to be used in some way. Every minute of every second of my day is pretty much spent by the time I get up in the morning. Our year is basically planned in advance. There's not a lot of spontaneity there because we have busy lives. We work full-time. Secondly, I have a husband. So I'm married, and that is important because he and I make decisions together. So if we're not both 100% comfortable with a situation, we don't do it. And that goes for investments too. Now, if you're married, you probably know that you guys complement each other, right? There's a reason you're married because you have two different viewpoints on things, and that can be good in money. That can also be stressful in money because I am a saver. I naturally am a scrimper and a saver, and I will cut out every enjoyable thing in our life in order to get ahead. My husband, he's more of a spender. He likes experiences. He's a smart spender. He likes those experiences. He likes comfort, and there is nothing wrong with either side of that coin. And in fact, if you have one of each, count yourself lucky, because you can balance each other out as long as you know how to communicate your needs to each other. I have kids and pets. So we talked about babies being little and not very helpful and costing a lot. Well, that is true of me right now. I have kids that are not very helpful at this stage in their lives, and they cost a lot of money. Everything that we do is more expensive because we have kids. We have, going out to eat is way more expensive for 5 people than it is for 2 people. If we want a family fun day, go to a local sports game, a baseball game or a hockey game, the tickets are more expensive because we have to buy 5 of them. Plus, room for all the diaper bags and stuff like that. Everything's just a little bit more expensive when you have kids and pets. Also, you have to take them and their lives into consideration when you're making money decisions as well. So I can't put everything I own into investments and lose it all and be okay with that, because I can't just go live somewhere else. We have to have space for our family. We have pets we have to consider too. We can't just uproot our pets because we need space for them to live. They can't live in a box on the street, right? And neither can my kids. I wouldn't let that happen to anybody in my family. So that makes some expenses more negotiable than others. We own stuff. We have a house that we own. We have vehicles that we own and other things. And with that comes maintenance expenses. So we are responsible for anything that breaks on our house. We are responsible for oil changes and windshield wiper replacements and general maintenance on our vehicles. And if anything goes wrong, we're responsible for that too. So we have to anticipate those kinds of expenses. And we have to put money back for that. Or, we're stuck in a bind. And nobody wants to be in that situation. What all this means is that we have a little less money lying around, right? We are a below average income household. I think the median average American household makes $87,000 roundabouts. We're below that. So again, that just means that we have less money at the end of the day, at the end of the month, to play with, to spend on our expenses, to have fun with. And if we want to do things, we have to work hard to do them. If we want to invest, we have to work hard to get extra money to invest. And you might come from a similar situation. You might come from a different situation. You might be a single person with no other responsibilities, no other people depending on you than yourself. That's a pretty awesome situation to be in if you want to build wealth, because as long as you have the right skills and knowledge, you can build wealth pretty quickly. Now, the other things that you add on, the house, the kids, the husband, everything sort of adds up to a barrier almost to building wealth, because you're narrowing your situation. You're narrowing the amount of options that you have to do with your money, to save your money. And lastly, we have massive amounts of student loans. I've talked before about how our student loans, my husband and I combined, is about $100,000. And no, I'm not okay with that, but it's there, it's done, and it's something that I have to live with. And right now, fortunately, everything is on hold, so they're not gaining interest. But every year that they are not on hold from COVID relief, they will be gaining interest. We're on an income-based repayment plan, so that keeps our payments pretty low, but the money is still owed at the end of the day. And when we go to get loans, it becomes harder to get loans for leverage on things like houses. And it becomes harder to get loans for things if we want to start a business like we're trying to start now. It all just kind of adds up to, we have low income, we have high debt, and that makes our situation tough. So if you're in a situation like that, if you don't have any extra thousands of dollars lying around, how do you get started? Well, you do need 2 things. You need money, first of all. You do need a little bit of money because, if you have no money there, it can't go out and make money babies. And it is hard to come by, especially these days if you're in a situation like mine, with prices going up and income not going up quite as quickly. Then maybe check out some of my other videos on how to optimize your cash flow or increase your income, because those can be tools in your tool belt to get more money at the end of the month. If you're in survival mode, there's no way that you can invest. There's just no way, because you're not going to be okay with the risk, first of all. You're in scrimp and save mode. You're in scarcity mindset, where that you think there's not enough out there because there's not enough for you out there. So you have to get past that first and get to a place where you can have a little bit of money to invest. Then you have to have time. You have to have time to know what you're getting into. I never would advise anybody to get into something that they know nothing about and just set it and forget it. That's not something I would do, and definitely not something anybody should do. You need to know what you're putting your money into. And, it's up to you how comfortable you are with the amount of knowledge you have on it. But as long as you know the basics, you can pretty well get started in investing pretty easy. We'll go over a little bit about that later. The setup does take a little bit of time. Even on these, you can start these probably in a day, but the setup could take you some time. And then, gaining knowledge, what you invest in, all of that dictates how much time it's going to take for you to accumulate. The longer you keep investments in, the better they accumulate. If you start drawing from them right away, if you start wanting to use that income right away, the longer it's going to take you to, make more money, babies. So why this video? This is where we start getting into the good stuff, guys. So why this video? Every time I turn around, I see a video like this, how to invest with no money. Well, it turns out they did have some money. Someone had a credit card somewhere that they could put money on for an investment. Or, they bought a rental house with the first money that they had with 5% down. Well, 5% these days could still equate to quite a lot of money. And I don't have that lying around. And if you're here, you probably don't have that lying around either. So there's a high barrier to entry, right, on most of the investments that are suggested out there. Also, it takes a long time to get started generating any kind of real income. Like I said at the beginning of the video, in order to see any real returns on any kind of investment, you have to put a lot of money in. That's why real estate is so popular. You put a lot of money into it and a lot of time into maintaining it, and you get a lot of cash flow in return, plus the appreciation of the home on top of that. So there's a lot of benefit to real estate. It just has that high barrier to entry that I was talking about. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to spend the next 7 to 9 years of my life waiting for my money to double. Even if I put what money I had into the stock market today and did that every day and lived on nothing, I guarantee in 7 to 9 years, I still wouldn't be very wealthy, because there's just not a lot of money to put into that at the end of the day because of all the things going on in my personal life that I said before. So if this is you, if this is similar to you even, how do you get started? Even if you're young and you have no money and you have no job yet, how do you even get started? Well, there's a couple ways you can get started with no money, and these are just a few that I've thought of. So if you've thought of ones that I haven't mentioned here, please do leave them in the comments below, because I am hungry for more information on the topic myself. What can we do? So first of all, I want to say be sure to invest in only what you know. Like I said before, know what you're getting yourself into. Know that no investment is guaranteed, and that you should not invest money that you are not willing to lose. Know that I am not a financial advisor, and this is not personal advice for you. This is my advice for me and my opinions on what I'm doing and researching. And take your own personal situations into account. What works for me may not work for you. First of all, this is where it gets good, guys. First of all, the stock market. So we all think of the stock market when we think of investing. That's kind of the one that pops out to everybody. And we all want to invest in those big companies like Apple and Amazon and Tesla. The ones that are really popular that you see everywhere. And by the time they're really popular, it almost feels too late, right? These stocks now are worth hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and I don't have that to buy one share of Tesla stock. I don't have that kind of money that I'm willing to lose. I just don't. We're still trying to build an emergency fund that's, fleshed out. So we don't have that kind of money to just dump into a stock that may or may not pay out for us. But did you know that there are websites, applications, companies out there that let you invest with as little as $5 or $10? I know because I did it. I opened an Acorns account recently, and I just sort of set it and forget it. They let me pick the amount of risk that I am comfortable with, and I put in $5 every single week. So that is one way to start earning money. And you can either have the dividends, which is the money that investments pay out. You can either have that come to you as income, or you can have it reinvested, which is really what most professionals suggest. Again, I'm not a personal advisor, a financial advisor. This is just my opinions and my experiences. But I like that I can set it and forget it. I like that it was easy to set up. I did it in an afternoon. And I like that it really didn't require a lot of know-how. Now, for somebody who is a little more interested in investing heavily in the stock market, I might suggest you go elsewhere because there is not a lot of knowledge on this platform. And it's not particularly easy to navigate if you want a lot of statistics about your investments and your money. Like it took me a couple tries to find out where I can go to see how much money I had invested up to this point in time. But you do get there eventually. So like I said, it might not be your choice if you are someone who knows a little bit more about the stock market already and is really interested into diving deep into day trading or stock investing for the long haul, stuff like that. Real estate. Like I said, a rental property can have a pretty high barrier to entry, right? We don't have those thousands of dollars lying around, but similar to the companies that allow you to buy fractions of stocks at $5 and $10, you can do the same thing with real estate. I haven't done a lot of research into these yet, but it's something I'm super interested in and plan to learn more about. So when I know more about this one, you will too. Small business. I did a whole video about hobbies that you can turn into small businesses, hobbies that can make you money. Go and check that out, because if you have something you're already doing for fun and you can earn an income off of that and then start investing that income into stocks, then your money's making money and then it's making more money. So that's like threefold for me. And I like those kind of statistics. I like when my money makes money and then that money goes out and makes money. So if you like gardening, like I do, maybe sell some flower bouquets at your local farmer's market every weekend. Or if you like making jewelry, set yourself up an Etsy shop. Just, use what you've got. And if that hobby is something you're going to be doing already, why not make some money off of it? Go check out that video if that's something you're interested in. I have a whole 2-part video series on ideas for hobbies that can make you money. Next is buy an asset. We think of assets as big things like houses and cars and, rental cars, rental houses, things like that, businesses that cost lots of money to get into. But you have small assets as well. Assets, remember from the prior video, assets are anything that can make you money. Tangible, untangible, anything that puts money into your pocket. And one idea I thought of is a candy machine. I've heard it said before, you can buy a candy machine, like one of those little candy vending machines. You can find a spot that doesn't have that, contract it out with somewhere in your city, and then maintain it. You set it pretty much and you forget it, except for maybe maintaining it every once in a while. And you can get part of the profits, and the place where you've set it can get part of the profits. And that's a way to make money. It's a proven business model, which means it works. It might take a little bit of time on your hand, but probably not as much as building an Etsy shop around something that you create, right? So that's a way you can do it. If you can think of other small assets, leave them in the section below, because I really struggle to think of those. And last but not least, personal lending. This is one I've been doing a little bit more research on myself, because this is how banks make their money. They lend you money and they charge you back interest. They lend you money. Your money is in their bank, right? And you in their savings accounts, and you're making like 0.01% in your savings account. But they lend you money out for a house at 3 and 4% for mortgage rates right now, 3 or 4% interest. So they're giving you 0.01%, but they're making 3 and 4% on the thousands and thousands of dollars that you pay for your house. the math is pretty clear that that's where they're making their money these days, right? That is one way they make their money. And if lending is a great way to make money, why not get into that? There are sites that let you do personal lending, so peer-to-peer lending where you don't have to be an accredited lender. Some you do have to be an accredited lender, which has a higher barrier to entry. But there are a few out there that let you do it, without that. So that's something I'm looking into more, and when I know more about it, again, you will too. So that's it. That's 5 ways to make money, to start investing with little or no money. And again, if you think of any that I haven't thought of, please put it in the comment section below so we can all benefit. Again, don't forget to hit that like button to help out the channel. And until next time, guys, I will see you then. Bye.